Sunny day, so I'm back to working on a motor again. Of course, my valley pan wouldn't fit with all of the crap going on, so I just took up a piece of aluminum here and kind of marked it where it would fit, and kind of hogged the holes out. It wasn't really big enough to do it properly, but I think I got enough here for all the bolt holes to fit, and I got a little Heidelberg breather here, so I'm not going to have to cut up my valve covers any. And of course the breather here on top wouldn't hit the manifold, so I ground a little piece out of that. So now with the valley pan on where it's supposed to go and enough room for a bolt, I've got some space here for my little breather. So I'll just put it roughly in the middle, and that'll make it look pretty good. And I'll put a PCV valve in the back. I'll drill a hole for it, and then I can put my valley cover on it, because it's just sitting here and it's starting to get dirt in it. Can't help it, and I'd like to end that somehow. So anyway, I'll try to get my bolts and stuff in it, and if I can, I'll put that valley pan on and make sure that my distributor is going to clear and all that stuff, and that'll be able to bolt this up and finish the project. I just stuck some bolts in it here, making sure it would fit. I've got to open up a couple of them. This one here I couldn't get a bolt in, and this one was pretty close, and there's one here, but it won't take too much more hogging to get that in, and it'll hold the gasket and seal it real well, so it'll look alright. Maybe I'll take my wire brush and brush it up a little and make it look better. I just wire brushed it up where it looks pretty good, and got all the dirt and stuff off. I think rather than try to polish it or anything, I'll do the same thing I did with the blower, just paint it silver. I guess I could paint it orange, but I think it'll make a nice contrast. And I'll just set my manifold on it here. Get it all lined up where it's supposed to go. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. And I'll just make sure I got this more or less centered, and where I'm at, I'll mark it now and drill me little 4 holes and mount that breather. I marked it and put my little gasket on it here. Marked the holes for the bolt holes, and then I'll drill a bunch more holes in it here for it to breathe. It doesn't have to be a nice square cut or anything, just as long as it's sucking a little air, and we'll be just fine. I got it on, it looks alright, but it looks like the bottom of my little breather here is contacting the metal itself, so what I'm going to do is just yank that off and grind that so I don't have any stuff there. If I want to be able to take it off, I don't want to have a lot of hassle trying to get it back on. I got it cleaned up here, and any dust and stuff that was in it blown out. I'm going to go ahead and put my pan gasket on here. I used a little bit of that copper based silicone in it, so I haven't bored my breather hole or anything in it, so I'm going to take this pan back off. I just want to get it in here and seal this stuff up so I don't get any more dirt in it than I already have. and I want the pan to come off easy enough, and so I just siliconed the gasket to the block. I might have to do a little work on it still here in the back to make sure that distributor clears and everything, but I just want to get it buttoned up and sealed now. Yeah, I couldn't find all my pan bolts. I don't know what I did with them. But anyway, I got a bunch of grade 8 bolts and a couple of them here. And look like the grade 8s are going in there nice, and they'll set it off good. Like I said, I'm going to pull this again. And my metal I had wasn't quite big enough, but I think it's good to seal the gasket well. Just around the edges of the bolts. You can see there's a good one there. The gasket just wasn't big enough, but it goes perfectly good to the machined edge of the block. So I'm sure that won't leak. It's not a hot heads $100 item, but it definitely is a homemade pan, and it won't leak. That's really all I care about at this point. This is not going to be a high dollar motor. I just want it to look pretty good and serve the purpose for what it's supposed to do, is run a rat rod down the road. Alright, well, we'll see if we can put the manifold on now, and that'll sort of start cleaning up some of this stuff a little bit. Well, I cleaned up my mating surfaces here good with a wire brush. Put a little thin coat of copper-based silicone on it. My intake gaskets, I'm going to put the manifold on now and just put some bolts in it and snug it tight. I'm just going to glue these gaskets to the motor. I'm probably going to have to pull this stuff off later, so I'm not going to really tighten it up much. Yeah, there's my manifold on and bolted up. I couldn't find all the bolts. I don't know whether some of the manifold were longer or not, or just in the last month me playing around and derusting stuff I lost them. But anyway, I got about half of them in here, and I put long bolts in the places that don't have any there, and just snugged it down good. I'm pretty sure it's even. I didn't torque it or anything, like I said, because I'm probably going to have to take that off again. I was thinking rather than put a PVC tube in here, might be a good idea to put it in a valve cover. I hate to punch a hole in that valve cover though, and that's just a piece of aluminum. I could run a hose down through here, and I don't know. But anyway, it's all kind of buttoned up and dirt tight at this point. I've got some, finally got another can of hemi orange paint, and I never did finish that bottom. So I'm going to flip it over and shoot one more coat in it, and then I'll button it up and call it a day. Well, that should do that. I went over it again with one more coat of paint, and cleaned up the pan area and everything. I've still got to clean up the pan there where I beat it out, but I want to take off my water pump and everything so I'm not getting a bunch of orange paint on it. And got a little on the crank there. I'll clean that up. But basically the pan's got a good coat on it. It's what's gonna get hit with rocks and stuff. The bottom motor looks good. So that was all I really cared about. Well, it looks like it's pretty good. I'll let it dry a little bit, flip it back over, and cover it up, and call it quits on this one for the day.